And let us, you can see the one model has been given. So here the rotor, that is the blade, is going to be considered as the rotor, and it is going to be rotate, and that blade has been connected with the generator through the shaft, and while that blade is going to be rotate, simultaneously the shaft is also going to be rotate, and it is going to make the generator to produce the electricity. And you can see the various parts which has been shown here. So there is a rotor blade, and as well as that gearbox, and as well as this tower. And here one thing, so depending upon the wind speed only, the tower height will be fixed. So if you are having averagely in that country, so they are able to produce the electricity through the slow rotation of the blade itself, so then the tower height will be very low. And if we required high amount of speed in that air means, then automatically the tower height will be more. And you can see here that shaft area of the blades. So that is how the blades are going to be rotate. So that is showing here. And let us come to the main thing in wind electrical energy. There is a windmill setup. So what are the things we want to consider mainly is the cutting speed and as well as the rated speed. The cutting speed is nothing but, so without knowing anything or without calculating anything, so if you are going to set up one windmill in a particular area, so through that wind speed, so the rotor, that is the blade, is not going to be rotate. So in each and every area, we must need to calculate that cutting speed. So that is has been mentioned here. The cutting speed is the minimum wind speed at which the blades will turn and generate the usable power. And here also they have given one thing, that is a 10 and 16 kilometer per hour has been estimated, that is to rotate the blade. And as well as you can see the rated speed. The rated speed is also nothing but, so the generator want to generate the power with a full load, because for a particular time, if you are rotating the generator and we are producing energy, and for a particular time, if the rotation of that blade is not a constant, that it will affect the generator directly. So that's why here they are mentioning that rated speed. So the rated speed is also considered as a main thing here. And let us see about that site selection. So what are the sites we are going to consider while we are going to construct a wind turbine? And you can see here the power available in the wind increases rapidly with the speed. So that is, so the power is very, very important. That is, the wind speed is very, very important. And the next one is the site. Actually, the wind is available throughout the year or off the year, or averagely how much the wind speed is available to rotate that blade. And the next one is, as well as if you are choosing a wrong and as well as a poor region for those wind energy conversion system, that is a WECS and the wind energy conversion system, then automatically that is called as rate of amount which we are investing for this particular work has been returned back. So once we are investing some 10 crore or some 2 crore, then that amount must be returned within 2 years or 3 years. That is the initial capital cost. But if you are choosing a wrong place, then automatically it will lead to the failure of the project itself. And you can see here, so what are the considerations we for furtherly we want to see in wind mill construction. So the first one is annual average wind speed. So the wind speed is available throughout the year, then for throughout the year we can able to produce the electrical energy. And the next one is anemometry data. So the anemometry data is very, very important. So while the government or the private organization is planned to construct a wind turbine or a windmill in a particular area, for 2 to 3 years they will have seen this anemometry data, and even in some area they will see the last 10 years data. If the 10 years data has been satisfactory, then automatically they will go further, or otherwise they will drop that project in the initial stage itself. And the next one is that proposed site. Okay, so if you are proposing a site, the wind speed is very, very high, but we couldn't be able to transport the materials to that area. And if you are finding that area also, it is a very, very complicated to construct a plant in that area, because once we after the construction, there is a construction, so we are having so many maintenance works we required, and we required a service engineer, and we required a maintenance engineer, we required a erection engineer, and as well as we required the design engineer. All the peoples must be available in that area, and if that area is almost 100 or 150 kilometers from that living region, then it is also highly complicated for the project. And the next one is local ecology, because it not want to affect that local area also, because that wind turbine is going to produce a huge sound. So that sound will affect the region, the living people around that wind mill. So that's why. So usually you are seeing in the outer area only that wind mill has been constructed. And so some of the site already I have explained to you, there is a distance, and as well as that nearness of the site, and as well as the nature of the ground. So the ground will also very, very important, because of that ground, the land must need to withstand, that is withheld that total weight of that wind, that because the weight was very, very high, very, very high. So that's why that ground need to withheld it. And the next one is land cost also has been considered as a main thing, because if you are going to, let us we come to that next one. So that is hydro power plant. So here in this hydro power plant, the next one is considered as this one. There is next to that wind, using that hydro power plant itself, many countries are producing the electrical energy, and here they have given the classification of this hydro power plant. So let us we see here. So here we are having the purpose, and the next one is the type, and the next one is the size, head, and connection systems. So likewise they have given much more consideration, and let us we see one by one in the next slides. And here you can see here in wind energy, we are converted that kinetic energy into electrical energy, but here in the hydro power plant, we are going to convert that potential energy into that electrical energy. So the potential energy, which is going to be available in the water. And let us you see here also. So this hydroelectric power has been considered as the cheapest power while comparing with the other renewable energy sources. Why? Because that water is available in all area through rain, and through the transportation of that water from one place to another place. And here you can see the classifications, so which I already explained, and you can see here. So these things only here they are mentioned. In the next slide you can see it clear according to the capacity. So we are having so many capacities, because in some area the water will be available in small amount, in some area the water will be available in a large amount. So likewise, so they have separated that area, and they have construct the hydro power plants. So like a large, medium, small, mini, micro, and pico also. So pico is also available. Using the pico, we can able to produce a very small amount of electrical energy. And the next one is according to head. So these according to head and according to purpose. So these things you can able to see it visually, that is through the picture in the next slide. And from that you can able to understand it very clearly. And you can see here. So according to head, we are having high, medium, and low. And according to purpose, we are having a single purpose or multiple purpose. So, and the next one is a facilities. So that is a whether we are going to construct the hydropower plant across the river, or we are going to construct one dam, there is a reservoir, or in the stream, or in a pumped storage. The pumped storage is nothing but we are going to pump that water, and once again we are going to produce electricity. So likewise, they are having facilities types also. And the next one is according to hydrological relation. So whether it's a single type or a cascade type. So it's a continuous one or it's a single one. And the next one is a transmission system, whether it's a isolated or connected to the grid. So grid is nothing but we are going to produce the electrical energy and we are going to connect it to the grid, or otherwise isolated, we are going to produce the electrical energy in the particular area, and that particular energy has been utilized for that local people itself or that local industry itself. And you can see here. So in this picture, so there is a control room. So the control room, we are having electronic load controller. So why here they are giving much more importance to that electronic load controller is whenever there is a difference in the frequency and as well as the voltage output, so it was going to be affect the generator very much. So that's why here the speed variation has been considered as a much more important consideration here, and both the frequency and voltage must be maintained correctly. So that will give a accurate output to the generator outside. And in order to overcome that problem, so we are having the controller. The controller name is nothing but electronic load controller. And from that picture, you can see that electronic load controller setup. Okay. And that is a small hydropower plant only. Okay. And you can see here that electronic load controller. So in what are the ways they are going to utilize for that hydropower plant means? So that is, it is going to control that speed variations, and as well as they are going to maintain a full load. So permanently under the full load, because you all known about that series generator, shunt generator, or compound generator. All those things you have studied already, I hope that. So in that series must be always run under the full load condition, because it will if that not run in that condition means it will give the problem to that motor or the generator. So that's why here also they are running that generator under the full load. And as well as you can see here that ELC has no moving parts. So that is give a reliable and as well as the maintenance free one. So the maintenance cost and as well as the handling of that ELC is very, very easy. And you can see the picture. So one small hydroelectric dam has been given here. So that is here in this potential energy. So that is in the reservoir, the water has been stored and through that penstock. Okay. So through this penstock only, so they are this penstock. Okay. So they are going to supply that water stored in that reservoir slowly to the turbine. And while the turbine is going to be hit by this water, it is going to be rotated, and the shaft which is connected with the generator is going to make the generator to move, and there is a rotate, and through that rotation we are getting the electrical energy, and that has been given to the power lines, and at last that water has been given to the river. And you can also see another picture which has been clearly given. So from the number 1, 2, 3, 4, you can able to see very clearly. So through that picture, you can see here the number 1 is nothing but the gate. So we are always closing that gate, and while opening that gate, the water is going to coming from that reservoir area to the penstock. And the next one is a penstock. Number 2 is shown, and number 3 is nothing but that inlet valve. Because why here they are given that inlet valve means if anything happened, okay, so due to some mistakes or due to some failures, that inlet valve will automatically closed, and it will not allow the water to go inside that inlet valve to the generator, because the generator cost is very, very high. There is the turbine cost and as well as the generator cost is very, very high. It will not going to make any mistake, that is make any failure to that generator and as well as this turbine. And the next one is the turbine, number 4, and number 5 is generator. Okay, so you can see that in the picture itself. And the next one is automation and control protection. Okay, so in each and every electrical generating stations, we are having the control protection unit. Okay, so why? Because the generator and as well as the other parts cost is very, very high. That's why they are having these setups. And the next one is a medium voltage switch gear. So like the switch gear is nothing but the circuit breakers, so which is going to be protect the entire unit while any emergency happen. And the next one is the power transformers. So through the transformers, if you are producing some 11 kilovolt means that has been converted into a 33 or 133, and that has been transmitted to longer area. And the next one is the switch gears, and as well as the transmission line has been shown in number 10 and as well as in the 9. And you can see the another picture also, so which has been clearly shown. So what I have explained previously. So through that intake, so you can see here. So through this intake, so it has been moving, and through this pin stock, it has been coming, and while it eating the turbine, and we are going to produce the electrical energy through the generator, and it has been transmitted through the transmission lines. And you can see here. So the name of this hydropower plant is Three Gorges Dam. So which is the world's biggest hydropower plant, so which is situated in China. So the total capacity of this hydropower plant is 22.5 gigawatt. Okay, so 22 gigawatt power can be produced using this Three Gorges dam itself. And this Three Gorges dam is a tremendous one, so which was built by China government, and it has been shown as a very good example. So today also for the production of electricity using a hydropower plant with a very lesser cost. But even though the initial cost is high, but the production and the maintenance is very low, the cost of this. And let us see much more points about this hydropower plant. So as you know that hydropower plant is also considered as a renewable energy, since it has been considered as a green energy. So it is not going to affect any ecological problem like global warming or otherwise some other problems. So it is going to produce that electricity, and the proven technology. So nearly for 2000 years, we are using this hydro technology. So that has been given here. So 2000 years of water wheels. So using that in olden days, you can see in the pictures. And the lifespan. So once we constructing the hydropower plant, it may give 50 years or much more years. So that's why here the hydropower plant comes under a Vittal rule. And the operating cost is also very low while comparing with the other renewable energy systems like a wind or another thing. So here it is also playing a major consideration here. And you can see here in the last point, the total 20% of the world's electricity is supplied by hydropower. And let us see some of the advantages. Okay, so these are the small points. So you can read it as like economical and reservoir and utilization and no harmful effect and no costlier equipment. So likewise, and the disadvantages is nothing but the low power generation and a suitable site, and as well as the efficiency is low, because all over the year we couldn't able to get that water in that particular reservoir. So we couldn't able to produce the electrical energy throughout the year in some of the areas. So that's they are mentioning. And let us come to that main thing. Apart from these hydro and as well as wind, we are also having a biomass, tidal, and as well as wave, then fuel cell, then supercapacitors. So these things you can go and search it in some online resources, or you can see it in your book itself. So we are having so many books for this renewable energy systems. So you can see that different types of renewable energies in through that. And let us we come to the softwares. So what are we are using for this renewable energy? So almost we are having 68 tools all over the world we are handling. So renewable energy systems are using 68 tools, and some of the examples has also been given. So like EMPS or energy plan or Homer, like SolSim or Transers. So you can search all these things, okay, and you can work it on any one tool. And the knowledge of these tools are very important. Why? Because so the companies are highly technologized right now, and they are using software tools to handle all the technical issues. So that's why there's a software tools usage is very important in companies. And you can see here. So what are the software tools for renewable energy system available? So like a Homer, Hybrid, Ihoga, Iron Cell, Princess, EMPS, Energy Plan, and like Somes and Hybrid Designer, Hybrid Sim, and ARES, and as well as Solstar. So these are some of the tools what we are using in a renewable energy systems, and apart from that, we are using a MATLAB also in the renewable energy systems for designing and as well as for the testing purposes and programming and all those things. And let us we see one demo for the renewable energy system. So you can see this picture. So here in a left hand side, you are having a fuel cell. So it is going to produce electrical energy, and the down to that fuel cell, we are having a battery. So through that battery also, we are going to store the energy and we are going to utilize. So like what we are doing in our mobile phone. So likewise, and the in the right hand side, in a bottom, you can see the supercapacitors. So through the supercapacitors also, we are going to produce the energies, and in between, so we are going to couple all those things. That is, we are going to hybrid all these things. So using a DC to DC converter, boost converter, and as well as buck converter. And boost converter is nothing but like a step down, step up transformer. It's going to be work. So the boost converter is going to be boost your energy, and the buck converter is going to be step down your energy. So like what the transformer is going to do, the same thing is going to happen in a boost converter and as well as in a buck converter. And it has been moving to the DC to AC converter, and it is going to convert that DC energy into AC. So using the converter, so like a rectifier and all those things. Okay, so that's why you can understand why the title has been given like power electronics. So here the DC or AC converter is nothing but without the power electronics like IGBT, like a MOSFET or like a SCR or thyristors, we couldn't able to convert that AC into DC. So that's why here they are mentioning AC by DC, and it has been given to the load. So our load or otherwise the line also, transmission line also. So this is one of the demo, and let us we see one case study. So the solar park. So the solar park has been constructed in Pavagoda, so which is situated in Karnataka, and the total area of the solar park, that is the solar power plant, has been installed in 13,000 acres. So that is 53 kilometers square. Yes. So here around 13,000 acres, they have constructed a solar park, and through the solar park, they are producing the electrical energy. And you can see how much they are generating. So initially 600 megawatt of power has been commissioned by 31st 2018, and it has under operation, and further 1,400 megawatt are planned. So they have planned to extend that solar park, and this solar park is the world's biggest one. And you can also see the total investment for that total solar park. So that is 14,800 crore, and here that in US dollars, they have mentioned 2.2 billion. So it's a very, very huge cost. Why? Even though like the Karnataka is situated in India, even though it's a developing country, why they have invested much more amount means due to the energy requirement. Because in developing countries, their energy requirement is very, very high day by day. So that's why they have installed, and this is also comes under the renewable energy. So that's why they are giving much more importance for this construction itself. And you can see about some of the quick facts about that case study. And it is situated in Tirumani, and which is in Pavagada Taluk. And the construction was begun in 2016, and that was operated by Karnataka Solar Power Development Corporation. And what they have used is flat panel PV only they have used, and the area is 13,000 acres, and the site resources is 5.526 kilowatt per hour per day. And the power generation is 600 megawatt right now, and the under construction is 1,400 megawatt. And let us we see about the evolution in this field. So you can see here. So in the year of 1990, so only the power electronics has been slowly developed. So like IGBT, MOSFET or SCRs. And after that 1990, so the speed up of this renewable energy system has been fast in developed countries, but in developing countries right now only, so they are under booming. And you can see here the concentration towards this renewable energy is nothing but due to the various factors like global warming and the various resources like coal or natural gas or oil or some other non-renewable energy sources are not at all available right now. So that's why they are going for this type of renewable energy sources. And let us we come to the job opportunities. And you all know it. So till the earth is live, so we required that electricity. Without electricity, we couldn't able to run anything. So this renewable energy system has multiple job opportunities. You can see your job opportunities here. So the first one is a greenhouse engineer, so recycling worker or environmental technician, environmental specialist, wind turbine specialist, solar installer, or urban planner. So you can get like these designations in a companies. And some of the more carriers in this renewable energies are, you will be considered as an environmental scientist, air quality engineer, energy engineer, or even energy manager, then environmental health and safety officer, the sustainable engineer, solar consultant. And while seeing about these job opportunities, the only thing what you want to know is you want to took one renewable energy as you were reading things, that is you want to become a master in that one. So you want to take hydro, or you want to take a solar, or you want to take a wind or tidal, and you want to work in on it using several softwares. And through that, so you can able to become this type of positions. You can go to these type of positions after becoming after knowing these softwares and as well as after reading all these things. Okay, so that's all about my seminar. So thank you very much.